start as we know. Well, sometimes we start in sitting, don't we? We're going to start in standing today, and I just want you to close your eyes. If you can, do this in bare feet rather than socks, if your feet aren't too cold. So just close your eyes, take your awareness to your feet, and just pick up your toes without looking at them and spread them nice and wide. And then can you place your toes back down on the floor and try and keep that separation between your toes. And then in your mind's eye, just take your awareness to your toes, your balls of your feet, insides and outside. Little lift up through the arch, feel the weight through your heel, and then feel a little sort of sense of energy going between your ankles, your knees, your inner thighs, up through your pelvic floor, lifting, just gently lifting the diaphragm, lifting your breastbone, and then feel that energy and almost like sense of space going up through the soft palate at the roof of your mouth and out through the top of your head. So you feel that length through your spine. And then just keeping your knees soft, you're going to start to sway your weight into your toes and then back into your heels. And as you do this, you're just keeping the weight, your heels down and toes down. And we're just starting to take our awareness internally rather than externally, and just wake up our senses, wake up our core a little bit. So as you come forward, you might feel your abdominals working at the front of your body, and as you go back, you might feel your glutes and calves working in the back of your body. And then start to take the sways around in a big circle. So you're just going to the inside edge of one foot, outside edge of the other, round, then round to the other side, keeping your shoulders super relaxed, and then changing direction, just going the other way. So arms just resting, dangling by the sides of your body, and just allow your breath to flow in and out normally. See if you can breathe in through your nose and a little out, softly out through your mouth. When you finish this one, coming back to the center, keeping your eyes closed, I want you to imagine you've got a tennis ball between your ankles. So you're going to shift your weight forward, and this time lift your heels, holding that tennis ball between your ankles, and then slowly lower your heels, but don't touch all the way down. And then come back up. So hopefully when you do this, you feel your bottom muscles starting to work as well. So your glutes, your calf muscles, the muscles in the back of your legs basically. And just imagining that tennis ball between your ankles helps to stop you coming up too high and helps to stop your ankles moving out to the side. Let's just do that 2 more times. And then last one. And then bring your heels down and just open your eyes. Okay, keeping your knees nice and soft, have a little wiggle. Just going to float one arm up. So nice, slow, soft warm up to start with. And as you take the arm up, can you imagine your shoulder blade dropping down your back and shoulder just moving away from your ear? So you're keeping space between your ear and your shoulder. Your arm stays nice and soft. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So little movements like these are just helping to warm up the joints in your body and just helping you to prepare for the fun that we've got coming up with the band. Just do that 2 more times. And then we're going to do both together. So can you keep space between your ear and your shoulder? Can you do a little lift in your breastbone? But when you lift your breastbone, try not to flare your ribs. So keep your ribs stacked over your pelvis. And in that way, you're just starting to fire up those abdominals a little bit as well. And we're just going to do that a couple more times. My screen froze then. I'm still going, I'm still here if I froze. Okay, and then one more time. Okay, so onto that, we are going to add our little heel lift. So imagine you've got that tennis ball between your ankles, float your arms up, lift your heels off. And remember, those heels aren't coming all the way down. So you're keeping a little connection to your glutes. So those of you who need to do pelvic floor work, think about as you lift your heels, you want to activate your pelvic floor as well. And then as you bring your heels down, you can relax it. So you can close your eyes doing this as well. And we're going to do 2 more. My legs are feeling this one. And we're going to do 1 more. Hold it here. This time, bring your arms out to the side and then drop your heels. My heels dropped before I wanted them to. And then just rolling those shoulders. So we're just going to take one arm. So take your left arm, sweep it up towards the ceiling and all the way around behind. What you can start to do is just rotate your head. If it doesn't work for your shoulder, you can do this with a bent elbow, remember? So breathing in and breathing out. Tracking your hand with your eyes so you get that natural movement through your upper back, through your neck, and through that shoulder as well. We're just going to do one more here, and then go to the other side. So breath in as you go up and over, breathe out as you come back down, and make this your last one, and then just coming back to the center. Okay, from here you're going to step forward with your left foot, and then you're just going to step back. So maybe if I do it sideways on. So you're just stepping forwards and stepping back, and just pay attention to the places where your foot lands. So when you go forwards, try and land heel, ball, toe, and then as you go backwards, land toe, ball, heel. And then start to just add your arms in. So opposite arm comes forward and then goes back. So it's like just a little walking on the spot, but just paying attention to what your feet and ankles are doing. So a little bit of an exaggeration as you land on your heel and then push off on your toe. And then you're going to swap and do that the other way. So change legs. You can go straight into your arms if you're coordinated enough, or if you need to take a little moment to think about it. So again, landing on that heel, pulling the toes up and then pushing up onto the toes. So almost like you feel like you're going to spring forward. And we'll just do that one more time. And then bring your feet back together. Okay, this time taking your left foot behind you, pressing your heel into the floor, bring your arms out in front of you. So front knee is bent, back leg is nice and straight. Just push away with your hands, and then you can push away and then up towards the ceiling. So you're getting a little stretch through the back leg. And then from here, bring your hands behind your back. Just going to hinge forward. And you might feel a bit more of a stretch into your hamstrings, depending if they're tight. And then just for a little teaser, take your weight onto your front leg and take your back leg up behind you. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So step forward with your right leg. Bring your hands out in front of you, just rounding slightly through the spine here. And then breathing in, going up into extension, relax your shoulders, press your back heel down. And then when you're ready, taking your hands behind your back, hinging forwards if you're peering over into a pond, and then shifting your weight onto your front leg and taking that back leg up behind you. So a little cheeky balance, and then bring your feet back down. Bring your hands onto your pelvis, just rolling your hips, nice big circles round one way and then round the other way. Alrighty, so when you're ready, you're going to take your band. So we're going to start with a little bit of leg work, leg and glute, and then we're going to move and do a little bit of upper body work. So you're going to start with your band around your ankles. So if you've got shorts or short leggings on, it might not be very particularly comfortable. So if you've got leggings or trousers, try and make sure your band is on your trousers and not on your skin. So sorry, James. Okay, so you want to have your band so that when your legs are about shoulder width apart, you've got some resistance in your band. If your feet are too narrow, your band's just going to fall around your ankles. So we're going to go into that hip hinge, but this time with our feet in parallel. So just hinging forward, your hands can be on your pelvis, your hands can be across your chest, whichever works for you. So your bottom, if you've got imagine you've got a chair behind you, it's like you're sitting your bottom into your chair, but you're keeping your chest up and eyes just stay forward. So you want to feel that you're pressing out into your band, and that's going to really fire up the muscles on the outside of your leg and your bottoms. So breathe in as you sit back, breathe out, press into your feet and toes as you come up. So this is good also quad glute strengthener as well, and quite a functional exercise. You need to be able to sit down in a chair and get back up. So let's just do that 2 more times, and then stand up nice and tall. Bring your hands onto your pelvis. We've been doing these movements the last few weeks. So tap your toe in front, you're going to sweep it around and tap your toe behind. So week 1 we did it with no prop, then we did it with the hedgehog, I think, didn't we? Yes, and then now we're just doing it with the band. So you should be familiar with these. So you're trying to keep your pelvis nice and stable. If you had a headlights on the front of your pelvis, you want your pelvis to stay still as you rotate your leg around. So tap in front and tap behind. So you want to feel that you've got resistance in your band, so you're pushing out into your band and keeping the stretch on all the way around your circle, and just making sure you're not dipping over to the side. If you feel you are, hold on to something next to you and fire up your core. So this is a core stability exercise. Even though we're not actively using our abdominals, they're working passively almost in the background just to stabilize us. And then we'll do one more, and we're going to stay with that leg behind. So whichever leg's behind, you're going to stay there. Hinge forward as if you're peering over that cliff or pond again, and then we're just going to do little pulses up towards the ceiling. I know you can't see your toes, or maybe you can in your screens, but just make sure your toes are facing down towards the floor and not rotated out to the side. You're going to feel this in your standing leg as well as in the leg that's working. Let's just do two more. Oh, it's quite hard work. And then from here, you're going to bring that leg up in front of you. So keeping the band around your ankles, you're going to feel that into your quad. And then as you breathe out, you're going to take your leg behind you and come forward a little bit more. So breathing in, bring the knee up. Breathing out, sweep the leg behind you. That back leg might not go straight. It depends how tight your band is. Okay, if you want to add a little bit more complexity, take your opposite arm. So if it's your left leg, it's your right arm. And then you're going to take, do that again. So if it's your right leg, it's your right arm. If it's your left leg, it's your left arm. Because we're going to reach to the opposite leg. There we go. As you come down. So you're reaching on a diagonal as you take your leg behind you. If that's too much, just keep your hands either on your, whatever you're holding on to, or balancing with your hands on your hips. We're going to do that one more time. This is hard work, so stick with it if you can. And then we're just going to pause here, take both arms behind your back. Can you straighten both legs? Lift that back leg a little bit more, pulse the arms up towards the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh. So your legs are definitely going to be tired today. Give them a little rub, do a little circle, and then adjust your band. So mine tends to travel up my legs, so I'm going to bring it back down my legs. Okay, we've got to do that all on the other side. So we start keeping your pelvis nice and still, tap your toe in front, draw a little semicircle, and tap your toe behind. So the leg that you're standing on, try not to lock it out, so it's soft in your knee. Lift your chest, eyes forward, and smile. Breathe. So when I look at you, some of you have got your heads cut off, but when I look at you, I want to see, can you keep your upper body still? So it looks like you're really not doing anything. So you're like a little duck swimming on the water. The lower half is working, upper body stays nice and still. So how do you do that? You have to use these muscles here in your core. Okay, let's just do one more. And then you're going to finish with that leg behind you, coming forward, and then little kicks up, pulses up. So front leg is soft, so by that I mean there's a slight bend in the knee, so you're not locking your knee out. Eyes just looking down at the floor in front of you. 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee up in front of you, so you feel your quads working, and then as you breathe out, you're going to sweep that leg back and come into that dipping bird. So breathing in, my band's now up by my knees, it doesn't matter if it moves upwards. And then as I breathe out, coming forward. So if you want to, you can add in that diagonal reach. So same arm, same leg is moving. Breathing out as you come forward, looking down. So this kind of movement is really hard and challenging, because you are actually adding a extension in with the arm and reaching on a diagonal pattern, as well as that balance and work for that stabilizing leg. Okay, pausing here, straighten both legs and arms. Lift that leg a little bit higher and just pulse those arms up towards the ceiling. Is anybody else's leg about to explode? And then bring your foot down. Oh, give your leg a little rub. Well done, James. Yeah, give it a pat. And then just have a nice big circle all the way around one way, and then go the other way. Okay, should we give those legs a little rest? I think we will. We'll do a little bit of upper body work. So step out of your band. If anybody needs to grab a drink, go grab a little drink. And then you're going to bring your band around the back of your hands. So I'll come a bit closer so you can see. So it's around the back of your hands, palms facing inwards, and you want to have your elbows close into your arms. Okay, so when you push out into your band, nobody can answer me, but this is why it takes a bit longer in a class face to face, because I was talking to them about what muscles do you feel, so you can think about it yourself. When you push out with your band, what muscles can you feel working? So yes, you can feel your shoulders, but you should also be able to feel your abdominals, or your abdominals should be working, especially now as you start to just push your hands forward and then bring them back and relax. So what can you feel? Can you feel your abdominals working as well as your shoulder muscles and arm muscles as you push your band forward, or push your hands forward and push into your band? So it's very subtle. I'm pushing my hands out to the side, but they're not moving very far because of the resistance of the band. So some of you have got quite strong bands. You might not be able to push out very far. Okay, let's add a little heel lift onto that. So as you breathe out, push out, lift your heels. So glutes are working, abdominals are working, upper body's working. We're going to add a rotation. So breathe out, come up, rotate to one side, release off your band as you come back to center, and then bring your heels down. And again, breathe out, push out. So pushing outwards with your band. So firing up the muscles on the outsides of your shoulders. Can we do that one more each way? Let's do it the whole way through. So you rotate to the left, back to the center, and then straight round to the right, and then just bring the heels down and give your shoulders a little roll, give your arms a little rub. So again, you might have felt that on the outside of your arms. Okay, this time you're going to keep your hands in the same position. You're going to bring your band overhead, so you're going to lose mine. So I'm just going to come down onto my knees so you can see this. So again, pushing outwards, but this time breathing out, you're pulling the band downwards. So breathing in, reach up, relax your shoulders, breathing out as you pull down. So if you want to add a little heel lift on, you can. So lift your heels as you straighten your arms and lower your heels as you come down. So this time I want you to feel that you're, as you bring the band down, you're sliding your shoulder blades down your back. So you're activating the muscles in the backs of the shoulders as well as those tummy muscles. Let's just do two more. And last one here, and then just relax. So roll your shoulders once more, and then just turn your head to one side. Allow your chin to drop towards your chest. So sometimes doing the band work can get into our necks and cause a bit of increased tension. If it's too much, remember you can always do these without the band, or you can do it with a lighter band. Okay, so we're going to go into a bow and arrow or catapult. So you're going to take your band and loop it around your thumb, or this part of between your thumb and your index finger, and then you're going to pull on the back part. So if I go sideways on, you can probably see me better. So like a bow, or when you pull backwards, you're going to rotate and look behind you. So looking at your elbow. When you do this, your abdominals should be working pretty hard, and then you're just going to bring your hands back together and release. So one hand stretches forward, the other arm goes back. So archer or bow and arrow. So your feet are on that staggered stance as well, because what we're going to do next is shift your weight into your front foot and then shift your weight into your back foot. So you've got a little bit of forwards and backwards movement and a little bit of rotation as well. So breathing in and breathing out as you rotate. So this is a new one. It's quite hard to teach on Zoom, I think, but you look like you're all doing okay. Breathe in and breathe out and pull one more time. You could do this with a long band as well. I think Beth, you're using your tube. That's fine. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So one arm, the other arm forward this time, pulling back, looking behind you, and then just starting to shift your weight from your front foot into your back foot. Breathing out to pull back, breathing in as you come forward. So working on rotation and trying to use your core, not just your arm muscles. So make sure your abdominals are engaged. And one more time. And then just come back to the center. All right, that's quite a good one, isn't it? Those arms are working. Okay, one more for the arms here. So your top hand is up, bottom hand is down in your band. So you're going to push up with the top hand and down with the bottom hand. So firing up those triceps and your biceps. So go sideways on. try and get that arm straight and almost take it behind you so that you get into those tricep muscles. It's not the most exciting, but it is a good upper body strengthener. So anybody, I would say, over the age of 40, that's most of us I think here, isn't it, needs to be doing some upper body strengthening exercises at least 2 or 3 times a week. But especially once you hit menopause, you need to be doing them definitely 2, maybe 3 times a week. Let's do one more each way. And then just roll your shoulders. Drop your chin towards your chest and allow one ear to drop over to the side. Take your hand, opposite hand behind your back, and then go the other way. And then roll your head back to the front and just roll your shoulders. Okay, our legs should be nice and rested, so we're going to go back to the old legs. Bring your band around your ankles once more. And take your feet out. Turn. So you're going to go for a little walk in your room. So if you disappear, I know where you've gone. So I'm going to the end of my mat. I've got my mat sideways on. I'm just going to walk along the length of my mat. So turn your toes out, and you want to go into that hip hinge again. So bottom goes back. Keep your back nice and straight. Little connection between your shoulder blades, and you're just going to start to go sideways on your mat. So a little funny ministry of funny walks. So Beth, you've got a really tough band there, haven't you? You can move it up to your thighs if you think that's if you get a little bit more movement. I don't know, is that better? Yeah. Okay, and then if you want to work a little bit more, challenge yourself, you can drop down into more of a squat. You could bring your arms out in front of you as well, rather than having them on your pelvis. So the lower you drop down, the more you'll feel it in those legs, especially into your glutes and hips. If that is too much for you, then just straighten your legs a little bit. But you always want to have a slight bend in your knees rather than straight when you're doing this. So you should be starting to feel that they're working pretty hard. Joe, is your back all right? Yeah, good, okay. So go down a little bit further if you want to. Can we do one more? Not one more, but to the edge of each side one more time. And then when you've done that, make your way back to your center. Oh, that's a toughie, isn't it? Circle round, circle your hips one way and then the other. So we're going to do some nice juicy stretches at the end to release off those glutes. Okay, last thing we're going to do here, so a bit of on the spot marching. So actually what you might want to do is bring that band up to your thighs. So you're going to lift one leg, opposite arm up, and then bring it down. So when you do this, try to not shift your body side to side so you're moving your hips. Try and keep your pelvis nice and still as you lift and lower your legs. You could even do this with your eyes closed. Upper body nice and relaxed. It's quite a challenge actually with your eyes closed on your mat. So again, you might find you really need to use your core to help lift that leg and to help keep that stability so you're not moving side to side. So let's just do one more each way, and then keeping the band there, we're just going to do a little rib slide. It wouldn't be a Friday Zoom class without a rib slide. So breathing in as you go one way and breathing out as you go the other. And then next time you come to your left, just pause here, windmill those arms, have a nice big stretch, look down towards the floor, look up towards the ceiling, then use your abdominals and stretch and windmill as you go the other way. Lovely, well done. Okay, so take your band away, grab a drink if you need to, and then have your band near the front of your mat, so whichever the front end of your mat is going to be, and come to the back end of your mat. So when you're ready, you're going to spread your fingers nice and wide. Take a big breath in, look up towards the ceiling, stretch out your abdominals. And then as you breathe out, bring your arms down by your sides, soften your knees, walk your hands onto the floor, and you're going to come into your upside down V, your downward facing dog. So spreading those fingers wide, start to just pedal out your feet. Obviously, if you don't want to go upside down, you're just doing some kneel and hands and knees, pelvic tilts or weight shifts. So pick which is going to work for you. So we're just going to do that a couple more times. And then we're going to walk our hands forward. And as we breathe out, we're going to come into plank. And then as we breathe in, we're going to go back to down dog. So keep doing that. I'm going to show you your version that you do on your hands and knees. So you're just shifting your weight backwards, and then you can shift your weight forwards, but don't let your tummy drop down, so you just come into more of a plank position. So just do that one more time each way, and then finish either back on your heels or into your down dog. If you're in down dog, you're going to bring your feet closer to the center. You're going to take your right leg up behind you, and then as you breathe out, you're going to shift your weight forward and bring your your knees between your elbow, and then you're going to do that back. You're going to do 3 on each side. If you're on all fours, you're going to do the same, but from all fours. So leg goes behind, and then shift forward. That's it. So pick which version works for you. So you've got 6 in total. Once you've done 3 in one side, switch to the other side, and then we're all going to finish in our plank. So either kneeling plank or normal plank, and then I want you to try and control. So either from your knees or from full plank, control as you lower yourself all the way to the floor. So don't just plop down, let yourself slowly come down to the floor. All right, so this is where you need your band. So hopefully it was at the front end of your mat. You're going to take your band behind your back. So in the same position that we had our hands earlier, with palms facing in and the back of your hands facing outwards, pushing out into the band. Lengthen your fingers down towards your heels and take your band slightly away from your bottom and your legs, and you'll find that the tops of your shoulders, fronts of your chest start to peel off the floor. So you can either keep your forehead down or you can peel up a little bit higher as you breathe out. And then as you breathe in, just allow your band to come back down, turn your head to the side and relax. So we do this quite a lot on dart position, just makes it a little bit more work for the upper back and the back of the arms, adding on that band, but you can do it easily without. So just be careful of your lower backs here. So instead of pushing your tummy into your mat, do the opposite. Make sure you draw your belly button in away from your mat. So imagine you've got a little cube of ice underneath your belly button. So just going up and down a few more times, breathing out to come up and breathing in as you come down. Let's make this your last one. Pause here, draw your heels together. Imagine you've got that tennis ball between your heels so you feel your glutes working. If that doesn't work for your back, keep your feet down, hold it for a few more seconds, and then just release your legs, turn your head to the side, and let your shoulders just relax and breathe. Well done, everyone. That's always, I always think that one's harder than it looks, right? Okay, from here, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and bring yourself up onto your hands and your knees. So we're just going to start to shift your body side to side. So you don't need your band for this one. We're doing our little mobility drills that we normally do on all fours. So just shifting your weight one side to the other. Give your head a little shake as you do this, because sometimes a previous one can make you feel like you're straining your neck a little bit. So spread those fingers, and then you can start to do some circles with your tail. So just doing some nice big circles round one way and then round the other way. And then walking those hands nice and far forward on your mat, spread your fingers nice and wide, tuck your toes, and then as you breathe out, shifting your weight forward, dropping your pelvis this time, and then as you breathe in, send your tail back. So a really nice way to just open up the hips, extend through your lower back and stretch out your abdominals. Good. Just do one more each way. We're going to finish forward, untuck your toes, and then turn your head and look round towards one heel, back to the centre and round to the other heel. Come back to the centre, pop yourself back towards your heels. If you can't get your forehead on the floor here, you can make a little pillow and rest your head there. Just pause, take a few breaths. So breathe into the back of your pelvis, back of your lower back, your ribs, shoulders. Again, try and create space between your shoulders and your ears. Good, and then when you're ready, you're gonna bring yourself up to kneeling. So grab your bands again, and for this one, I'm gonna talk to you with my back to you, just so you can see the position. So I'm gonna tuck my toes to start off with, and I'm gonna have the band in the same position as we had before, and we're gonna hinge backwards. So we keep a straight line between knees, hips and shoulders, and you go towards your knees and then come back up. If that's pretty easy for you to go towards your knees, heels, go towards your heels. Hopefully you know what I meant. If it's easy for you to reach your heels, you can untuck your toes and you can go back a little bit further. Just watch that doesn't cause cramp. I always get cramp when I do that because I think my hamstrings and calves are working hard, and it's hard to feel where they are. I can see Sarah, she's like, where are they? They're there somewhere. Okay, just watch your neck as well. So imagine you're holding a ripe peach under your chin. So as you go back, you don't keep your neck forward, that your head goes back with you. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Maybe you turn your head to face the camera, to face your screen as well. That just takes a little bit of tension out of your neck. Okay, bring your hands forward again. So loop round your hands. And this time you're going to drop back into a kneeling position. That's not going to work for everyone, okay? So if you can't get all the way back, just go back as far as you can. As you come up, push out into your band, push your hands forward and give your bum a squeeze. And then breathing in, bend your elbows, come back down. So breathing out, push up and away. So kneeling squats. Breathing out, so they're like standing squats, but obviously kneeling. But again, you're hopefully working your abdominals, muscles in your arms, definitely those legs. And make sure you engage your glutes as well. Breathe out, come up. Let's do one more. We're going to pause up in that kneeling position. We're just going to rotate to one side and then to the other. And then this time, arms overhead. We're going to side bend to one side and then to the other. Lovely, well done. Okay, give those shoulders a little rest and a little wiggle. And then come onto your bottoms. And you're going to take your band underneath your feet. So you want it underneath your feet so that and then you're going to take your knees quite wide and sit up nice and tall. I think it's quite hard for you to see my band here. I don't know which is the best position. Maybe this way. You can see what's going on with my back. So sit up tall and use your band to help you. You want to keep your band below the level of your knees and your elbows just down nice and low. So as you breathe out, you're going to tuck your chin, tummy in, and just curl your spine backwards. So you're going back onto your coccyx and then onto your sacrum. Again, be careful with your head. Make sure that you take your head with you so you're not poking your chin forward. And then breathe out, engage the muscles, and then just release off on your band, excuse me, a little bit, and you will come up. So breathing out. So just do a few in your own time. Breathing out to go back and breathing in to come up. So your band is really helping you in this one. It's assisting you. But you are getting a little bit of arm work. So make sure when you go back, you're thinking about bending your elbows, bringing your elbows back to your side. So you're working the muscles in the back of the arms as well. So go back to the point now where you feel your abdominals are working. And then we're going to go in a little circle. So you're going to rotate to one side and then bring yourself up. I had some complaints yesterday that this wasn't very nice if you have a bony bottom. So if that's you, apologise. You can double up your mats, or you can just go forwards and back instead of round and round. So breathing out as you go round, breathing in as you come back up. Change direction, go the other way. Keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. Challenge yourself as well. All right, see you, Beth. And one more time, all the way around, and then come all the way back up. Well done. Okay, so keeping your band around your feet, just lengthen your legs out in front of you. Use your band to help you sit up nice and tall. Pull your toes back. Maybe some of you will be able to lift your heels off, so using your quad muscles, and then just point your toes. It's actually easier if you have your band underneath the balls of your feet. So you're just working your ankles here, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. So it's really good for lower leg strength and ankle mobility. So just do that a couple more times. And then when you're ready, you're going to take your band now and bring it up to your lower thighs. So just around your thighs, just above your knees. Okay, so you're going to bring your arms out in front of you, sit up nice and tall. Two options here. You can always use your hands and elbows to go back, or chin to chest and roll back with control. Push those knees out into your band as you go back. Bring your head down onto the floor and then just float your arms all the way overhead and just have a little mini stretch here, and then bring your arms back down by your sides. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of work for the muscles again in the outside of the leg, and the stabilizers are on across your pelvis. Bring your hands onto your pelvis, and I want you to imagine you've got a cup of tea balanced on one knee. You're just going to let the other knee drop out to the side without spilling your cup of tea. So go to the point where you feel quite a lot of tension in your band, and then use control of your inner thighs and pelvic floor muscles to slowly let your leg come back up. So it's almost like you're working against the resistance of the band. So it just changes the muscle activation very slightly, and as you let your leg come back in, you're using your inner thighs and your pelvic floor and your deep stabilizers in your abdominals. So you can either just do 4 on one side and then switch to the other, or if you're alternating, just carry on alternating. And you might find it's easier on one side than the other. So these exercises seem quite simple. They're not particularly exciting, but they're really fundamental. They're really good for building pelvic stability, and also great pelvic floor exercises as well. So as you bring your leg back in, you're activating your pelvic floor. So just do one more, and then come back to the center, and then just hugging your knees into your chest and having a little rock side to side. I really like having the band around the outside of your legs for some exercises, because it really helps to create that stability in your legs and therefore in your core as well. Okay, so this time hands down by your sides, either palms inwards or upwards, whichever's most comfortable. And then as you breathe out, we're just going to bring one leg into maybe a little bit closer than tabletop, so you're pulling against the resistance of the band, and then bringing your foot back down. So you could take your feet a little bit further away from your body, and that's going to mean that you get a little bit more tension on your band. So breathing out as you float one leg up, breathing in as you come down. So as you bring that leg up, try to use your abdominal muscles, not just your hip flexors. If you're not sure, bring your fingers to the top of your thighs, and you've got quite tenderness little muscles there. So when you lift your leg, you'll feel the tendon at the top of your thighs kicking in. That's perfectly natural. We all have that, but you don't want them to be massively overactive. You ideally want your abdominals to do a little bit of work as well. So try not to really overuse. I massively overuse on one side, not so much on the other side. How do you tell if you overuse it? You'll just feel that there's a lot of activation, and that tendon will probably might feel thicker on one side than on the other. Okay, make this your last one, and then just bring your feet back down onto the floor. So this time we're going to go into our spine curls. So tucking your pelvis under, pushing your knees out into your band as you push your knees forward and lift your pelvis up towards the ceiling, and then just rolling back down. So a little tip for you here: the further away your feet are from your bottom, the more unstable you will be. The closer your heels are to your bottom, the more stable you'll be. So if you want a little bit of a challenge, just walk your heels a little bit further away than you normally would do. You can add your arm floats in as well if you want to. So hands up towards the ceiling, they can go overhead and then roll back down. If you're hypermobile, just be careful you don't overextend your spine. So by that I mean really arching your back. So make sure you just keep a straight line between your knees, your hips, your pelvis as you roll up and roll down. And you also got the feeling here that you're just pushing your legs out into your band. That's going to help fire up the muscles in the outside of your legs and buttocks. So make this your last one. And then on this one, keep your arms behind you and roll down one vertebra at a time, nice and slowly, all the way down. Okay, walk your feet a little bit closer into your bottom. So we're going to do some single leg bridges this time. So you're going to come up into your spine curl now, up into your bridge with both feet on the floor. And then you're going to lift one leg into tabletop. And then you're going to bring it back down. So if you place your hands on your pelvis, you want to try and keep your pelvis super still. Imagine you've got spirit level across the pelvis as you lift and lower your legs. So you shift your weight into one side and then you place your foot down. Make sure you're nice and strong before you lift the other leg. So as you get tired, your bottom will start to lower down towards the floor. So keep pushing those hips up. Keep pushing into your heel. Keep smiling. This is hard work. So you can do this with your bottom on the floor. So if it's too much for your back to be lifted, please put your bottom down. Okay, what should we do? One more each leg. You can't answer me back. And then roll all the way down. And then just hug your knees into your chest. And again, just have a little rock here. Maybe go in a little circle round one way. And then circle round the other. Okay, so we've got little abdominals, 3 abdominal exercises to do, and then we've finished all the hard work, and then we're going to spend about 10 minutes doing some nice stretches. So keep your band around your thighs. You're going to hug your right leg in and stretch your left leg out. Your band might start to travel a little bit. Don't worry about that. So some options for you. You can chin to chest look between your legs. You could use your hands behind your head to give your head a little bit of support, or you can just keep your head down on the floor. And then all we're going to do is just switch. So for me today, I'm going to keep my head down because I taught this class 3 times yesterday, so I think I've had enough. My neck has had enough, needs a little rest. So you can just switch. You can point through your toes, you can push through your heels, you can speed it up, as long as you can keep your pelvis still and your ribs on the floor, and make sure there's no doming in your abdominals. So by that I mean you want to feel that your abdominals stay flat and then up pushing upwards. So let's just speed it up a little bit for the last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. And then when you're ready, that's a toughie, hug your knees into your chest, have a little rock side to side. So we're going to give our lower abdominals a little mini rest. Pop your feet on the floor and bring your hands behind your head. So I like to just interlink my fingers. You can also just rest your fingers on the back of your head. Whichever version, you're going to let your head drop into your hands and not push into your head. So as you breathe out, you're going to lift from your sternum and you're going to nod your chin towards your chest and imagine that you can bring your ribs closer to your pelvis. And then breathe in and lower down. If you don't want to do this, just go into some arm floats instead. So if your neck is not going to like coming up and down, I want you just to focus on keeping your shoulder blades down on the floor, keeping your ribs down and pelvis still, and floating your arms overhead and then all the way back down. So you can choose which version you want to do, okay? Okay, if you're doing the curl ups, we're just going to do 2 more, because they're quite hard work. And then have a little rest, bring your head down, release your arms and turn your head side to side. So we're going to go back to the lower abdominals. Actually, we're going to combine lower abdominals and upper abdominals. So for the next one, you choose, you can either do it with 1 foot up and 1 foot down, or you can have both feet up. If both feet are up, again, you need to make sure that your lower back is protected. So keep your abdominals flat and your ribs down. Fingertips up towards the ceiling, relax your shoulder blades and they're going to stay on the floor for this one. As you breathe out, you're going to push your legs out to about that's a bit higher than 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and then bring them back in. And then at the same time, you're going to send your arms overhead. So it's quite strong. So if it's too strong, please do this with 1 foot on the floor. So breathe out, push away. So just notice what's going on with your shoulders, shoulder blades, your back of your rib cage and your lower back. If you feel that any of them are lifting away from the floor, you need to put 1 foot down on the floor. Breathe out to lengthen, breathe in to come in. So let's just do 2 more. And last one here. Hold, hold, hold. And then circle those arms around, hug your knees in, bring your forehead towards your knees, hug yourself into a little ball, and then just bring your head back down on the floor, bring your feet down, let those knees just drop side to side. So nice little release for the low back, hips and the abdominals. Well done everybody. So all the hard work is done. Hopefully your legs have recovered a little bit of abdominal work there at the end. So we're going to stretch out those glutes and then have a nice little stretch out for the hamstrings and your lower back as well. So take your band, actually we'll do our hamstrings first. Take your band around the bottom of your right foot and extend your left leg out along the floor. So let your elbow, if your band is stretchy enough, let your elbow rest on the floor so that you're not having to reach up. And then just use your band to gently and gradually draw your leg in towards you. So some of you might need to, if you need to straighten your leg, you might need to take it a little bit lower towards the floor. So when you stretch, you never want to stress, you don't want to shake. If you're shaking, you need to back off your stretch a little bit. So here we're stretching the hamstring muscles, which are the muscles at the back of the leg. If you draw your toes back, you'll also get a stretch into your calf muscles. Some of you are already very flexible, so again, you don't need to overstretch. You might not feel a strong stretch or you might not feel a stretch at all. From here, we're going to just let that leg drop out to the side. So if you're very mobile, pay attention to this one. You don't just want to let your leg keep going. So how do you know when to stop? Well, you stop when your pelvis starts to lift off. So when your left buttock starts to lift off, or you can't go any further, that's when you know when you need to stop. And then work on, again, use your band to draw your toes up towards your shoulder. And then bring that leg back up. Okay, we're going to keep your band around the same foot, but you're going to turn your toes to the opposite side, opposite shoulder, and you're going to change hands. So take your band into your left hand and draw your leg across your body. You can do this with a bent knee if you need to, okay, if it's too much. And then straighten through your leg. So you're taking it across the centre of your body. I don't know, it's probably quite hard to see on the screen, but it's going across the centre of my body. And then come back up. Okay, we're going to switch legs, so we're going to do that on the other side. So take the band around the bottom of your left foot. Stretch your right leg out along the floor and have your left leg up towards the ceiling. Try and let that left thigh drop down into its socket, so left femur drop down. And then just gently use your band and use your breath to draw your leg up and into your body. So every time you breathe out, you might find that you get a little bit more space to be able to stretch. So we always do stretches like this at the end of your workout when your body is nice and warm, rather than the beginning when you might injure yourself. And then you're going to let that leg drop out to the side. So again, only go as far as you can before you start to lift your right buttock off the floor. And then you're going to come back in, turn your toes towards your right shoulder. Band in your right hand. You can bend your knee here, or you can straighten your legs, go all the way across. And then coming back up, bend your knees, take your band away, and just hug those knees into your chest and have a little rock side to side. Well done. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to do some nice, lovely glute stretches. So hug your right knee into your chest again. And then use your left hand to draw your knee across the centre of your body, and your right arm's going to come out to the side. You're just going to turn your head to look over the arm. And then instead of just drawing your knee to the side, draw it up towards your shoulder a little bit as well. So it's going up towards your left shoulder. So if you're very mobile, again, you might not feel this as a stretch. So what you could do instead is just a little forwards and backwards roll, or just work on your breathing. Okay, when you're ready, roll back onto your back. You're going to bend up that left leg, keep your foot on the floor, and just let your right ankle cross your left thigh. Then you're going to take your right hand and you're going to press it into your right thigh on the inside. And all you're going to do is push that leg away from you. So by bending and straightening your elbow. It's not a very big stretch, but we're just opening through the inner thigh here in the front of your hip. Just do that one more time. And then you're going to lift up your left foot and you're going to hug, this time, hug your right knee in towards you. Let your left leg just drop down, dangle down towards the floor. And as well as hugging the knee in towards you, you're going to draw it across to the center or even across to the opposite shoulder. So that's just going to intensify stretch. Again, if you don't feel a stretch, just pause here, have a little rock side to side, focus on your breath. Have one more in breath, one more out breath, and then release off. Okay, let's do those lovely stretches on the other side. So lengthen your right leg, left leg this time is going to come across the center of your body. Your hands can go out to the left and you can turn your head to the side. And then you're drawing that knee towards your shoulder as well, just to intensify your stretch a little bit. So remember, when you stretch, as well as not wanting to shake, you also want to feel that it's kind of on that border of pleasure, pain. So you feel a little bit of stretch, but you don't feel that it's so painful that you're going to go into cramp. And then roll onto your back, cross your left leg over, your left ankle over your right knee, and then this time just pushing that left thigh, inner thigh away, so straightening and bending your arms, just opening up through the hip, so it's super gentle. And then when you're ready, just lifting the right foot off the floor, hugging your left knee in. You can stay there, or you can start to just take it across towards your right shoulder to deepen the stretch. And you can stay in stillness, or you can rock side to side, whatever works for your body. So just take a couple more breaths there. And then when you're ready, roll back onto your back. Take a full body stretch, so lengthen out your legs. Take your arms overhead. And then just imagine that somebody's pulling on your toes, pulling on your hands and stretching you out down the center of your body. And then can you reach longer through your right side of your body, so long through your right toes and right fingers. And then long through your left. And just cycle between those a few times. And just notice any difference between the right side and the left side. And then when you're ready, bring your arms down by your side, bending up your knees, just letting your pelvis settle. So tuck and roll your pelvis a couple of times. We're going to roll round onto your side, and then I want to do one more stretch on your tummy. So come onto your tummies. If this isn't comfortable for you, then feel free to just go into child's pose or to find a more comfortable position. And you're going to bring up one leg, so up into a sort of a frog position. You're going to rest your forehead on your hands, and you're going to bend your knee and your hip, and just try and let your body feel relaxed and weighted. If this doesn't work for you, you could move your leg a little bit further down, or you could even just lie nice and flat. So when you're ready to come out of it, it's a bit like doing the breaststroke. Slide your leg away from you towards the other leg, and then you're going to slide the other leg up and do the same on the other side. Let your forehead just drop down. Try and relax through your buttocks. So this is just opening up through your hip, front of your hips here, and pelvic floor. So think about just trying to make sure pelvic floor is nice and relaxed as well. And then when you're ready, slide that foot down towards the other foot. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and bring yourself up onto your hands and your knees. We're going to step forward with your left foot. Tuck your pelvis under, and then breathing in, sweep those arms up towards the ceiling. And then coming back down, we're going to switch to the other side. Tuck your pelvis under, breathing in, sweep those arms up. And then this time we're going to bring ourselves up to standing. Well done. Okay, when you get up to standing, we're just going to take one ear over to the side, press away with the opposite hand, or even take it behind your back. And then you're going to take your free hand, bring it onto your collarbone or just underneath your collarbone, and you're going to look away on a diagonal. So jut your chin forward, eyes up towards the ceiling and just feel that stretch down the front of your neck. Okay, release that off, drop your chin towards your chest. Move all the way around to the other side. So we'll start with just ear to shoulder, press away with your hand, or maybe take it behind your back. And then take your other hand underneath your collarbone, ideally on your skin if you can, and then chin to chest. So you're just pressing down and slightly inwards. And then looking up on a diagonal. Release that. Bring your head down, so looking down towards the floor. And then as you breathe in, bring your eyes back to the horizon, just rolling those shoulders. How do they feel? Take your feet a little bit wider, take a big breath in, spread your fingers nice and wide, reach up here. And as you breathe out, bend your knees and fold forward. Do that one more time, big breath in and breathing out. And then stand up nice and tall, have a little shake. Shake out your legs as well, shake out your shoulders. Give yourselves a clap. Thank you very much for coming.